Naomi back with IGN's E3 live show, streaming to live on e3.ign.com. Our next game starts with a unique premise, fighting dudes with gravity. This ain't your daddy's gravity gun, so let's toss it over to Anthony on a new game called Inversion.
Thanks, Naomi. So I'm here with Rick, and we're here to see Inversion. So Rick, what exactly is Inversion?
Inversion is a third-person shooter that we've basically taken gravity and we weaponized it. And so now you can use gravity as a weapon, both with the environment as well as how you interact with the enemies. So no longer can you like hide behind cover. We can use low gravity that pops you up out of the cover, or we can use heavy gravity that pins the bad guys to the ground, sort of thing.
How exactly do you manipulate gravity? Is it that they're slamming something into the ground so it's around the player, or is there a way to also do it in the distance? Obviously there is, since you just did it. But
yeah, so there's multiple ways, and we use the GravLink, which allows you to manipulate gravity and shoot these spheres of gravity, whether it's high gravity or low gravity, as well as a shockwave, which is that close-in area. And then
Go ahead.
we also have areas where you'll be fighting guys on the back, on the wall, or on the ceiling. And so we really try to use gravity to change up the environment as well and change the type of gameplay style.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen that gravity, obviously, you can use it to lift objects in the air and then sling them as projectile weapons. But yeah, how exactly isn't gravity going to play into other ways? I know that there's going to be vector shifts where you play on walls and maybe play on the ceiling.
Yeah, so we have vector changes, and he'll show that to you in a minute here. But yeah, you'll be engaging the enemy on the ceiling of a cavern or on the wall. You also could be on the ceiling and the wall, engaging the guys on the ground. And so we're really trying to change up the look and the feel of your standard gameplay. At the same time, we're trying to keep it immersive. It's really part of the world. And then we'll have zero gravity areas where, think of like bubbles of gravity that just have exploded outwards and destroyed the terrain. And now you have to learn how to navigate this environment in a zero terrain. How does it affect your weapons?
Where there's debris floating throughout the
yeah,
air.
and you're going to be linking, jumping to each of the pieces of debris.
So what's the premise of Inversion? I mean, is this like a game with like a really serious story to tell, or is it kind of tongue-in-cheek?
I'd say it's serious. I mean, basically what's happened is Davis and his partner in co-op, which will be Leo, his daughter's gone missing, the world's been invaded, gravity has gone all crazy, and so now it's about him trying to navigate this crazy world looking for his daughter.
So right here what we're seeing is a vector shift where he's able to throw grenades that then shift gravity from flying forward to all of a sudden taking a shift to the right.
Exactly, so he has to learn and figure out how do I throw that grenade effectively with that shifting gravity.
How is these gravity mechanics, how are they going to work in multiplayer?
Well, exactly. Imagine a multiplayer level like this where you have guys fighting on a wall or on the ceiling, and you're trying to go back and forth through what we call conduits, trying to engage them. You're getting popped up in the air.
Obviously, yeah, what we're seeing here is that enemies can use gravity against you as well.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
hiding behind cover isn't necessarily going to work all the time.
And you want the cover to be destroyed because you can use that cover as debris to throw it as a weapon. So like in multiplayer, it's the same thing. You can get popped in the air, you can grab an object or part of debris and throw it at them if you're out of ammo, that sort of thing.
So how destructible are the environments? I mean, I've seen a lot of things, him blowing up bridges in the distance, walls crumbling, etc.
It's pretty destructible. I mean, not everything's destructible. We try to keep it contained into the play area. So that, again, to us, the destruction is just another weapon that you can use.
So, I mean, there's a lot of third-person shooters at this year's E3. Like, besides the gravity mechanic, is there anything that you think kind of helps Inversion stand out?
Well, I think at our core, we're going to be a pretty solid third-person action game. And I think for us, we're really trying to change the environment and the view and how you play the game based off of the gravity itself. So you're going to have situations like this that you've never seen before. You're going to be able to interact with it and navigate through that environment. So we're really trying to immerse you into it.
So Saber Interactive, which is you guys, your last game, Time Shift, was a first-person shooter. Is there a reason that Inversion is a third-person shooter? Do you think that lends itself better to the use of gravity?
I think it lends itself better to the use of gravity. And it's really what Saber did is they looked at what's out there and said, where can we bring the Havoc destruction system plus gravity? Does it make sense third-person, first-person? Where can we really exploit it? And that's where they landed on the third person.
Has the Havoc engine, the physics engine, has there been any kind of specific things done with it to work for Inversion?
No, pretty much we just took their system and we basically made sure that we made the objects big enough that we can use them and grab them and use them as a weapon. So now you have mobile cover. If I grab a car and I float the car, I can have the car in front of me using it as cover as I'm engaging the bad guys. Or I can plop it over in the distance, and in co-op, you could run up there and use that car as cover as we advance on a fortified position.
So obviously, you know, gravity is a huge part of it, but what, I mean, is it going to be, you know, are there going to be other guns that are going to kind of be like a hook for the game?
Yeah, we have several other guns you'll get later in the game that really take advantage of the gravity as well. We also want to gravitize the grenades and make them just not your standard grenades.
Cool. Well, thanks, Rick, for showing us Inversion.
Sure.
You know, it looks like a third-person shooter with a unique hook to it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you.
All right, yeah, thanks so much. Back to you, Noya.
Thanks for that demo, everyone. Up next, we have a very Space Marine-centric shooter called Space Marine. Go figure. Warhammer 40K is next.